All right, you guys. That's a wrap. I just finished up the second design. It's like 4 o'clock, so I finished almost literally exactly at like 4, which was what I told the customer the time I'd be done. So good estimate. So I've calculated that I can do about uh, about 100 impressions per hour. So like an impression is just like one pass through. So if you have to like double print the white, where you're like printing white on a shirt, then hitting it with the flash dryer, and then printing white on it again, that would be 2 impressions total. So like doing 100 shirts with a double print white would be 200 impressions. But it's good to know that kind of stuff for me or for anybody who's interested in starting their own screen printing business, because it helps you keep track of like, if a customer comes to you and they say, I need 200 shirts with double print white, and I'm going to pay you this much, then you can figure out, okay, it's going to take me this many hours, and, is the money worth it or not? Man, I'm pretty beat from that. I've literally been printing since I woke up. I woke up, didn't eat breakfast, just got dressed, and printed till now. So I've been printing all day. I have 3 orders downstairs that I'm going to deliver. Well, actually, the print broker's customer is going to be picking up from me, which is nice because that saves me a trip. But they're picking up here, and then I have to drop off the QCE order downtown, and then I have the LS Auto order, but that's getting shipped to New York, and I'm waiting on that customer to send me the shipping label, because that's just how he likes to do things, and I'm all for that. So anyway, just wanted to update you guys. And also I was thinking about like having a vlog in the future, or maybe even this one, I don't know, but basically just being about how to say no to a customer. I think that's like, it sounds funny, right? Like, why would you want to turn down business? But I think it's actually a really important lesson to learn, because there's been many times in my past as a small business owner where customers have taken advantage of me, where I've been, I guess you could call it what you want. You could call it I've been generous, or you could say it's naive or inexperienced, or maybe a combination of everything and then some. But I've definitely had customers who try to kind of like get over on me for whatever reason. And sometimes in business, you have to kind of put your foot down and know where to draw the line, and understand like, if you are willing to negotiate on prices or turnaround time and things like that, you have to already know in your head, like, what are you comfortable with negotiating down to, in order to like still be happy with the customer and the job. Because it's unfair to the customer if they convince you to negotiate down and you're unhappy with them, but you agreed to it, because you don't ever have to agree to it. So at that point, it's really your fault and your responsibility for accepting whatever it is you guys are agreeing on. But it's just a really important lesson, I think, as far as like, to give you an example. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, I had somebody text me. They said they wanted 4 shirts with like a 3-color design on it. And I'm not going to make 3 frames and pay for artwork separations and then buy the shirts and print just to have a 4-piece order, because it's such a process on the screen printing press. But I have a partnership with a local company right down the street from me who has a direct-to-garment machine. So the way that would work is like, I told them, like, I either said $20 or $25, which is basically a retail price, but it's like you're not really going to get discounts as a customer if you're only ordering 4 shirts. You get discounts by doing bulk pricing. So I told her, I think $20 or $25 a shirt, and she got back to me later and just said that they decided not to do it, and I'm totally fine with that. Obviously, I would love to have the work, and I would be happy with doing it for that cost. But if I were to have said I'll do it for $10, then I have to pay the person who's doing direct to garment for me, and I have to buy the shirts, and then also just deal with like being the middleman and like bringing it to and from, and then also like, it's just, there's a lot more involved, where it's like such a small amount of money, because it's such a small order, that you to me, it's like that's where I drew the line. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do it, but it's gonna be more expensive per shirt because it's such a small quantity. Um, so that's kind of what I mean by that. I had another customer who, when I first started, I was printing for $1 a shirt for him, and it was like right when I first started, and I reached out. I found him on Instagram. It was like this skate shop on the east side, which is like a more uppity part of town, and I contacted him, and he was like, yeah, come on into the shop and I'll see what you're about. And I went in, and he was really cool about like my hustle. He said he really admired my hustle or appreciated it. And he's a successful business owner, and so we connected on that level. I was brand new, like I didn't even really know how to print, and I ended up messing up one of his first orders for like a bunch of stuff. It was all American Apparel, expensive garments that he bought the garments, and then he was just charging me for printing. So I had messed that up, and he didn't realize it until after taking the garments back, and then he called me shortly after and was like, hey dude, like you messed these up. And he was real serious, and I didn't even know that I had messed them up because I was new to screen printing. I didn't understand the proper cure temperatures to get the shirts from not cracking and fading, and I didn't understand like how to put the shirts on the pallets to where they're like uniform and the same every single time, and lining all the pallets up. And there were just like so many things at that point in time that were new to me and I hadn't learned yet. And so like I ended up telling him like, yeah, I'll make good on it. Like, how much did you spend on the garments? Can you show me a receipt? He showed it to me. It was a lot of money. It's between like $600 and $1,000, I think. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, and I wanted to make good on it, as I do with every customer I've ever worked with. And so I told him, like, I can't pay you back because I didn't have the money to do so. But I told him, like, I can work, like, if you keep placing orders with me, I will, make up for it in my service, and just whatever I'm charging you for printing will deduct it from that. But I raised the print cost too, because I was just like, $1 per print is just too low. You're not going to find that anywhere unless you're ordering like massive bulk contract type stuff. But so anyway, I ended up doing like 4 orders for him. It was like a ton, like 400 shirts maybe. It was a lot of work. And every time I would do an order, I'd bring it into his shop, and I would have to wait there with him while he literally pulled out every single shirt and like put it up on a mannequin, made sure it looked centered. It wasn't too far left, too far right, too far up or down. He would take a measuring stick and measure it. It was just like the most anal, unnecessarily like specific expectations. And I did a bunch where I had definitely made up what he had spent for him and then some, and he was still expecting me to do free work, and it got to a point where I was just like, I can't just keep working for you for free. I've already paid you back. And he threatened to like take me to small claims court. And I said, go ahead. Like, you're not going to win. If you do, I've already paid you back and more. If you want to waste your time and money and my time, by all means, if you want to take me to court, I feel confident that, this will end in my favor. And as soon as I said that, he immediately he backed down off that, and just said stuff about how he might never work with me again. And at the time, like, he was a really big customer for me, and I was really grateful to have his work. And even to this day, I'm really grateful for the experience. It was an amazing learning experience. And he was a good customer. I wish that stuff hadn't happened, but he said that to me, and I told him, like, I'm not even really sure that I want your business at this point, because he actually had insulted me like on a whole different level, to where I was just like, I can't believe you would say that to me. So at that point I was like, you know what, I don't really want to work with this guy regardless of anything, just because of stuff that he said. But just to give you some examples, I have plenty of examples like that from when I got started, and I think it's good for me to talk about this kind of stuff because you guys can kind of get a feel for, like, it's not always smooth sailing. I mean, I know one of my first vlogs, I showed you where the digitizer had screwed up the company's name, and I didn't notice because it looked almost identical. Like, instead of an A, it was an N or something, and it looked really, really similar. And I did all the hats without even realizing it until I was finished with them. And I sent a picture to the customer, and they're like, why is that spelled wrong? Is that, are you, you know? And I looked at it. I was like, oh my God. And, that lost me a bunch of money, but I made good on it. And I told them like, I'll pay for everything to redo it for you and stuff like that. So, and they appreciated that a lot, and they're still customers of mine today, and they're, like a pretty big company, and, relatively speaking, and they, I'm really grateful to have their business as well. There's been other stories. I don't know. Obviously, I don't want to talk about all these mistakes I've made because it probably makes me seem like I'm not very good or don't know what I'm doing. But actually, I wanted to touch on what I mentioned too about the guy that I messed up his order and he threatened to like sue me or whatever, because it's funny because he was so anal and specific about the measurements and the centeredness of the designs to where like every single shirt I printed for him, I would literally measure the distance from the right sleeve and the left sleeve to see how far down on each side of the pallet they were. Like I literally took a measuring stick and measured it, every single shirt on each part of the shirt. It took me forever. But it's funny because a year later or something, I went and got this job at the factory I always talk about. It's a $25 million print shop. They do stuff for Samsung, US Bank, Progressive, the biggest companies in the world, literally. And so obviously their expectations of quality are very high. And when I got there, I was ecstatic because I knew it would take me to the next level as a printer. And I was shocked because I started, as soon as I got there, like especially on my first days, I would ask all the printers a million questions throughout the day, to the point where like the managers would be like, all right, you need to stop talking and like focus on work. But they all appreciated my enthusiasm, I think. But it's funny because like when I learned how they went about like measuring like centeredness and stuff, it was literally just like it has to be 3 fingers down from the collar, and like the way that they measure the shirts on the sides with fingers and stuff like that. I was just like, wait, you're telling me this is a $25 million company, and you're printing for the largest companies in the world. Like they print for Apple and Samsung and like huge companies, multi-billion-dollar companies, and they're just measuring with their fingers. I just thought that was so shocking, and then it made me think about how petty the guy who took all my stuff out like in person, and kind of belittled me in front of his employee and over the phone, and made me stand there very uncomfortably and get every single item I printed, for the most part, measured. I just thought like, wow, looking back on that, like I can't believe that he put me through that, and how in a way I think he was really trying to take advantage of me, because of my lack of business experience. And that's common with people who are more seasoned, and when they're dealing with younger people or just people with less experience, they'll kind of see that as a vulnerability. I know firsthand. I literally, guys, I could tell you so many stories about times like this. Like there was this documentary I worked on. There's this company that I used to work for as an editor at an ad agency, where like I've been just hassled to do stuff for them. And oh my goodness, like, oh yeah, 24/7 workout gym. And a lot of this stuff was when I'm just starting. And I mean, sometimes stuff like this still happens from time to time, but it's much less common. But either way, I just wanted to bring that up because I was thinking while I was printing down there about like negotiating prices and not overworking yourself and underpaying yourself, and like knowing your value and knowing your worth, and like, you don't want to have unrealistic expectations, but you have to, just kind of, you dictate as a business owner what you're going to get paid. Obviously, if it's unreasonable, nobody's going to pay you, and you're not going to make any money, and you're going to go out of business. So like the market will tell you, whether your prices are reasonable or if you deserve it or not. But I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's a really important lesson to learn, and hopefully you can learn from me the easy way rather than learning like I did the hard way by actually making the mistakes with customers. But I think even if you kind of learn the easy way, like it's inevitable to make some mistakes and have these failures, and you just have to learn how to roll with the punches and overcome it. But yeah, let me know if you guys want me to talk any more in depth about stories like that, because I literally have a lot. I mean, I don't want to make that sound like a lot of the business I do with people is bad, because I think it's the opposite. Like I feel like the majority of my customers, vast majority of my customers, leave very happy and they return for work. And I mean, if you look at me on Facebook, I got 5 out of 5 star reviews, literally 100% of my reviews, and there's like 100 reviews. So like, I think I do a good job of keeping customers happy, but you know, like I said, every now and then it's inevitable to have a mistake. You know, you're only human. So I could literally talk about this forever. I was thinking maybe even doing like a live stream at some point where it's like a Q&A, FaceTime type of thing. If anybody's interested in that, maybe once the channel grows more, I'll do it, because I would like to interact with people and get like direct questions and have a chance to kind of just talk. I know I talk a lot in these vlogs already, but I have a lot to say, and I feel like I have a lot to help people with through my experiences. So I'm going to get the rest of those shirts boxed up and let them know I'm ready for them. And then after they pick up, I got to drop off QCE's order. And then I have to quote both of the Johns for their orders. So after I quote the Johns, the reason I'm saying that is because there's 2 separate guys named John that need work done by me. I'm going to do my taxes. But it's really exciting because the print broker is already telling me he has another 150 piece order, a 200 piece order. He just placed another order for like 25 shirts and 12 hats. Clifton Barbers is going to be placing an order for like 50 shirts and 24 hats. There's like some construction companies around here that I've been quoting, which I'm really sure that are probably going to place an order soon. There's a lot of stuff in the works. I try to constantly just like put my feelers out, see who I haven't reached out to in a while, and also try to like look out for new people and just keep tabs and see if anybody needs anything. I think it's really important too to not be too pushy about that kind of stuff, and like just kind of remind people like, hey, if you need anything, I'm here, you know, like let me know. I'm just trying to stay busy type of thing. I don't really ever push people to do anything. Like I think that's the wrong way to go about it. Another thing I want to mention as a salesperson is if you want to be good at sales, you should genuinely be in the customer's best interest, and put yourself in the customer's shoes and think about like you, when you're a customer and you're dealing with a salesperson, what do you like about dealing with like a good salesperson, and what is it that you dislike that makes you think somebody's a bad salesperson? So when you're dealing with selling to somebody, whatever it is you're selling, think about that while you're having the conversation, so you can proactively focus on being a good salesperson and genuinely trying to add value to your customer and help them. That's super important. I think that's one of the keys to my success, is having my best interest in my customers, because if my customers are successful and they're growing, I'm going to be more successful and I'm going to grow. So it's like a full circle type of thing. You want your customers to succeed, and you know, you want to treat them well and they'll treat you well in return. So I don't know, just a little food for thought. Maybe that's what I'll call this episode. Food for thought, episode 1. This isn't really a Q&A. I got the Q&A, I got the food for thought, I got the freaking startup life. I'm going to get back to doing like music videos and just like music recordings that I'm going to put out there once I get some higher quality stuff together. But I'm laying low on that. I'm just working on that behind the scenes until I get it to a point where I feel comfortable putting it out in the world. I know if you scroll back on my YouTube channel, I have like a buttload of just terrible stuff up there, so I'm probably going to hide a lot of that in the near future. But other than that, I mean, hopefully I'll get into some more skits and documentaries and just post in more stuff in general that I'm passionate about. But all right, I'm going to get back to it, guys. I just need to sit down for a minute. Feeling the burn. All right, deuces. That last clip was I want to add to that, so just cut this into the end of that. Also, guys, I am in the process of catching up on more vlogs. I've been super hyped about all the feedback, and super busy too with everything going on right now. I just bought a house and I am getting 3-phase power installed, so they had to put in a telephone pole. I'm getting all these orders off YouTube and other customers that are pre-existing or even new ones locally, plus video work and everything going on. So anyway, I just want to let you guys know I have shot like the next 5 vlogs or so, I think. So I have the content. I just need to find the time to edit it. Hopefully Brendan will be able to help me out with some editing, but either way, I'm going to put time in to start uploading the next episode. And I apologize for all these little like update videos. I figured it's better than nothing. I just wanted to keep you guys in the know, in the now, and like sort of figured out. God, it's been snowing on and off all day. I'm so sick of this weather. All right, guys. Anyway, until next time, this is Kevin Hackett. You're just watching an update. It's not, I don't know if I'll say that actually. Thanks again for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll be able to get the next Startup Life video up next week or by the end of this week, depending on time and work. I think things I'm getting really caught up on, so I should be good to put up the next one soon, and then hopefully get some help from editors and stuff. But anyway, doses, send it.